Morning, I'm hiking along the old Overland Road Trail where it cuts east to west through the Kaibab Forest in northern Arizona. So I'm going to break here and talk about an anime. Armitage the Third is a four-part cyberpunk-style anime OVA series from 1994. It was edited into a movie version, Polymatrix, in 1996. They're both released in North America on the Pioneer and Genian label, and I think they're all out of print right now. The story takes place on Mars, a thriving colony of humanity's future. This Red to Blue project isn't some political action committee for the Democratic Party, but the Mars Terraforming Project, made possible by robot technology. The title character is Naomi Armitage, an unlikely detective in the Martian police department. Undisciplined, surly, violent, and absurdly, sexily dressed in her unconventional non-uniform of hot pants and a bra. The story begins as Ross Syllabus, a veteran cop from Earth, arrives on Mars. He's joining the Mars PD and going to become Armitage's new partner, but first he'll have to survive their airport meeting. That's going to be the scene of a murder as a maniac killer kills a singer. Or does he?
彼女はケリー・マッキャノン。
犯人はこいつは何かの冗談か。このカントリースター人間じゃないぞ。ロボットだぞこいつは。
That dead singer turns out to be not just a robot, but a new, advanced model, more sophisticated and human-looking than the current state-of-the-art second-generation model, a third generation. This helps inflame recent Luddite political development on Mars as anti-robot sentiment is on the ride. The seconds, humanoid models, are accused of taking jobs from humans, and some consider them an abomination of nature. The police investigate this crime at the airport, but not as a murder. It's because the new robotic technology is illegal on Mars. But more of these thirds are discovered living in secrets on Mars. This is your basic dog and cat buddy cop pairing. Armitage is reckless, impulsive, and wild, and a robot sympathizer to boot. Sybilus has got a stick up his butt and hates cyborgs since a robot killed his last partner back on Earth, but they're stuck with each other. They have other areas of incompatibility as well. That relationship is going to be the biggest real problem with these characters. First, Armitage is supposed to be a real badass, but she's going to keep going all schoolgirl cutesy. Armitage meets Sybilus quickly enough, but they spend most of the first OVA separated, running parallel investigations of the same crime. So later, when Armitage goes missing and gets accused of a crime, and Sybilus defends her at the PD station by calling her a great cop, we're entitled to wonder how he might know and why he would really care. The OVAs have skipped the bonding part of this story, asking us just take it as read since we've seen this in so many other stories. Predictably, the OVAs will meditate on the definition of humanity. How smart does an artificial creation like one of these third robots have to be before it is considered human? But it seems a perfunctory, half-hearted effort, and it's certainly been done better before and after. The story will try to blend sci-fi, crime mystery with a time-worn anime action of cute girls with guns. It only partly succeeds. The action scenes aren't all that well staged, and many of them lack dramatic excitement.
Hey, sailor, what's this? You've got to be kidding. A fake leg? Surely the ironic humor of this hasn't escaped you. You freak.
As the story goes on, these two crazy cops go further rogue, becoming wanting fugitives themselves. The violence level of each encounter keeps escalating, and by the time we get to the ending, they're taking on an army of about 2,000 all by themselves. It could have had a Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid type ending, but the director, Ochi Hiroyuki, really doesn't seem to know when to quit. The art designs seem uninspired. Mars just looks like any generic futuristic city. Apparently, Martians drive cars on elevated freeways, have cobblestone alleyways, and have traditional-looking homes and offices, perhaps with fancy video displays. And they ride ordinary elevators, and they don't worry about air or water, or much else. The animation is pretty typical of OVAs of the period, with all the work focused on the action scenes. The music by Namba Hiroyuki is a techno beat style, and it's fast-paced and fits the story style very well. Pioneer's English dub of the OVAs isn't very convincing, but honestly, I didn't find the Japanese voices of Armitage very well suited to the punk image they seem to be going for visually either. However, the English translation totally lacked dramatic flair. I can't say if the Japanese script was any better, however. Overall, I give the Armitage III OVAs 3 stars. It failed to engage my interest in the plot's mysteries, and it often failed to engage my interest in the characters by making their personalities way too malleable, but I hung in there till the end anyway. Pioneers collected all 4 of the OVAs, a total of 2 hours and 15 minutes of video onto a single DVD. A year after releasing the Armitage III OVAs, Pioneer had the idea of editing them together into a movie for U.S. theatrical distribution. They shortened it by about 30 minutes, cropped it to widescreen, rearranged a few scenes, put some titles around it, and added dubs by Elizabeth Berkley, who'd just starred in Showgirls, and Kiefer Sutherland, who was then a Brat Pack actor. Many of the cuts are actually an improvement over the original OVAs, such as removing the stupid Mars First news broadcasters, replacing them when necessary with a quick radio announcer. Some of the cuts also tighten the dramatic pacing of the action scenes and could have been done with in the first one. And the final OVA's second denouement was one too many, so it was a good choice to leave that out too. But I did miss some of the actual detective work in the middle, such as Detective Ross Sibilus's visits to the robot factories. If you actually saw this in a theater, you'd probably be really disappointed in the animation, which wasn't made for a theatrical animation and probably looks really inferior compared to Ghost in the Shell or Akira, which are 2 other series that were also exhibited in the US around the same time. But since you'll be watching it on DVD, that distinction really doesn't apply anymore. The new English dub is certainly a big improvement. Sutherland is pretty good as Ross Sibulus with a shop-worn, world-weary voice as a veteran cop. And Elizabeth Berkley has a deeper voice to the street-tough Armitage. It's too bad they didn't get any script editor to punch up the English dialogue a little bit for them.
There's no way humans and robots are ever going to get along. Besides, you can't trust robots.
You're no different. You and that guy are both the same.
Since I'm allowed to make a choice, I choose not to like something that pretends to be human. Huh?
Since the movie version was cut specifically for the US, there is no Japanese soundtrack, though. There are Japanese subtitles. If you're a movie fan, you'll probably prefer to watch your movie in widescreen, but in this case, the OVA was originally made in the 4:3 full-screen aspect ratio. To make it widescreen for theaters, they actually had to crop the tops and bottoms of the animation, a sort of vertical equivalent of pan and scan. So, for example, in this scene, to make it widescreen, they lost the head of one of the gunmen here at the top, and they lost most of Ross Sibulus here at the bottom. If you're interested in Armitage III and you plan on watching it in English, I suggest the Polymatrix movie version, since the dub there is far superior. If you want to watch it in the original Japanese production, then you're going to stick with the OVA set. With violence, nudity, and profanity, neither edition is going to be suitable for kids. Thanks for listening.